day.
Thank you very much, guys. Yes, and as we just had Poro points out, Ghost decided to go back to the top, as they did in Game 1. Obviously, this is something we've seen a lot from the North American scene, teams adapting to the plane path. Of course, he doesn't lead out to where the circle could go. It went down to Val del Mar last time they did that.
Yeah. OGN just keep getting bullied by North American teams. First they ran across C9 last game, and now they are a little bit...
They're actually surrounded. Look, Cloud9, Tempo Storm.
Wow, yeah, they're actually completely surrounded by NA. But there's enough space up in that area that OGN, they didn't have to contest for this at all. And Ghost figured that that would be OGN's reaction as well. So there wasn't too much, I guess, pressure on them for trying to take the spot. The first circle is going to be on the eastern side. Once again, a little bit of water, but shouldn't be too much unless we get some more hard shifts onto the eastern side.
Liquid in Picado as a standard, as can be in PUBG action. Of course, the night's over in towards Power Grid. Standard sort of setup for a lot of these teams, of course, when the plane path goes down that way. It is pretty crowded in Los Leones. M19, as you mentioned, 4 AM method. Still going for their whole split type of strategy. Of course, FaZe, with the path being further to the east, will need to find vehicles and get over to Montenuevo, where they are heading right now. Vanguard, also Commissaro, all to themselves, actually. I'm surprised nobody's decided to split Commissaro with them. It's a big old city for one team.
Yeah, it was a big old city for a lot of different teams, but there's also enough spaces, and it seems that just no one really cares enough to get it. But yeah, Method, they're still trying to find a new home. They are, pointed out, are committing to this split thing, and because 2 members are in the circle, not as much in the circle as last game, they are still at risk of getting completely dismantled in the early game. MVP, though, they are long dropping all the way to El Pozo. Couple members still in the air, and that wasn't particularly far along the plane path when they leapt.
Yeah, there's them to still keep on swinging. You can see Youngtan going past. It is Youngtan, by the way. Obviously, it reads as 0-tan, but we are very much informed that it's Youngtan. What does it mean? 0 bullet?
0 bullet. He can kill you without even having to use a bullet. Yeah,
machete. We had a couple of those at Gamescom. Machete chasing craziness. But something I have noticed, Cammy, is Optic. They've adapted to the path, right? They would normally go over towards Valle del Mar. They've instead chose to go just sort of like the spread south route, right? They know there's nobody down here. They've kind of got the south to themselves, really. So it's spread out a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. They have Los Higos and a little bit up towards the north. In the qualifier stage, they had to contend with Na'Vi on Valdemar, but now they know Na'Vi's not there. They've done a couple of scrims before the day started, and then there's also been 4 games up until now. They know that they actually have free range over both of those spots in the southern part, and instead of doing what MVP do and have that long drop before they can start looting, and in this case, MVP are going to have to rotate all the way back, Optic, they can just eat a free choose for them, coin flip really, between which one they want to go. Same thing with Ghost, using both Puerto Paraiso as well as Terra Branco and Campo Militar.
Yeah, it's obviously, look, stark contrast, right? We're seeing Tempo Storm here. They're pretty much getting ready to rotate. MVP just pulled up. Absolutely nothing on them. They're completely bare-ass naked as they've managed to roll into El Pozo. So they're going to be very much coming out of the edge of the blue and seeing whether it works out for them. 4 AM here in Los Leones. Here's Optic, this is where we're talking about, down on the south coast. Not in their usual Valle del Mar. They decided to spread themselves out and get whatever loot they can be. It can often pay dividends.
Yes.
But can also leave you in a fairly low loot situation.
Yeah, you have to be able to manage how far spread your scrap loot is.
No helmet, is it? Oh, no, he does. They have a tier 2.
Okay, yeah. But still, look at that long distance he has to go. Miramar loot can be very, very good, as long as you don't have to take too long to get in between each compound to each compound to each compound. It's the travel distance that can be the real killer on Miramar. But Optic, they know basically the space that they have to work with. They're familiar with this area as well, and so I'm confident that they're confident they can get all the loot, or at least most of the loot that they can get. Plus, what is it? Headshore has the entirety of Los Higos to himself, so he can probably just pick up a bunch of other stuff and give to his teammates if they don't exactly have the full kit.
So Team Liquid on the move, coming out of Picado, starting to rotate in. What we obviously want to look at is where Example's going to go, because M19 have this sixth sense, it seems, right now, to find the center point, find the area that the circle will finish in. And they managed to get themselves consistently into that top 5 position. It's what they did at the Global Loot League, and it's how I believe they got the invite here, and it's worked out very well for them. You know, a lot of people were talking about, and I'm going to vividly point out Martin Avenger Good.
Oop.
As my as my chair decides to roll off. Whoops. Talking about him, but back to M19. You know,
yes.
They're going to get found out. They're going to get found out in this lobby. There's 10 champions in this lobby. They're going to get found out, but they're not. They're still doing it, Cammy. How is this possible?
I don't know. I mean, it's only been 4 games. Again, we're going to keep driving that through. Ibiza, he actually gets knocked by himself. I think he may have just flipped his bike.
I think I might have flipped my chair.
You might just flip. Yeah, you absolutely flipped your chair.
Yeah, let's get it back on. It's all good. It's all good.
Example, though, he's taking advantage of this. Finds a Ibiza knocked himself, but that's a free kill for them.
First kill of the game.
Everything comes to M19. The circle comes to M19. A free kill comes to M19.
First kill of the game. They haven't had too many kills, so, you know, they've got to take them as they come, and 7 points to 7 points. But Liquid going down there, as we were talking about. Cloud9, they've got themselves Vitality off to the distance. They will keep their vehicles very much safe. It's a pretty ring-fenced area to keep your vehicles in, so Cloud9 happy with their compound. Of course, everybody's trying to get fairly central. These are pretty much the central spots in the current circle zone. It could shift any which way. We don't really know. We've had some pretty hard shifts today, Cammy, in these circle changes.
Yeah, we really have it. But at that point, that actually makes center compounds that much stronger, because unless you want to roll the dice, if you're expecting another hard shift, unless you want to roll the dice on whether it's on your side or not, you want to be central in order to have a quicker rotation or have a better chance of being inside. But C9 from their position overlooking Vitality, they get it down and a finalized kill.
That's a confirmed kill, which is actually interesting. I don't know whether he was rotating in or whether. No, he just got caught out. Look at that.
Okay.
Caught out straight in between the buildings and confirmed very quickly.
Oh, I think he was driving in. The truck's still there.
Yeah, looks like it. Looks like he got caught out.
It's not free, though.
They're pulling up. They're pulling up. They've got themselves the knock. This is a bit risky now. They've got 3 players in there. Yeah, I'm not too sure I agree with this deal, but Yannick not able to really land a great deal of shots, and Nerf's going to get himself a position out the side. Vehicle getting lit up here. Jazza gets Moody down as well. Moody tries to push in. This has gone horribly wrong for the boys from North America. Cloud9 tried to match the aggression. They got Monkey down, and they thought they'd got themselves an advantage, and it has backfired horribly, leaving, I believe, just one. I think it's Stab. Yeah, Stab off in the distance, seeing his team just being pushed out. There was no reason to go for that fight. It was just aggression, and it's just bit them in the ass.
I don't know what their read was to go for that. The only thing I can think of is that they got Monkey, and they thought that Monkey was the scout, not a follow-up.
Because they saw him driving in, right?
Yeah.
They might have thought, there's only one in there. We've got the second guy coming in. Let's catch them.
Yeah, they must not have spotted Jazza or Yannick, because I think only just now Shadow is arriving. But that's 2 down for C9. Maybe even 3.
That's 3.
It's 3 down. It's just Stab left.
Yeah.
So a complete, not lack of, but failure
just a misread
of scouting. Complete misread. Puts a good position, Cloud9. Really bad spot. Simson also trying to make a read of his own. BenQ is may not hear the footsteps just yet. It's perhaps just a little bit too far away.
He just broke the window, so he definitely heard it. Yeah, BenQ's going to get out the side of this. Backs out. Has he got his... Simpson's actually looking the other way at the moment, so I don't know whether he happened to notice it. Simpson's completely looking the other way. Now he hears it. Look at that. He spins around on a dime. As soon as that shot goes off, like, whoa, there's someone right behind me. Don't know where that is. Back to Optic. 20 kills in the last game. We should mention they got took out in a 1v3 game before that.
Yes.
So it is kind of hit and miss still.
Yes, they did. So, yeah, could be a good game. Could be a bad game. Hetro right now trying to defend himself against an approaching 4A.
It's the gas station. It's the gas station. The gas station of doom from GLL. And would you believe it does look like 2 teams are going to clash on this.
Upside, they don't know that he's there yet, so they're not going to go super aggressive, and it looks like other members of Optic are arriving, so at least Optic have potentially the information advantage into this. I say that when Forever is going up on the cliff, so I take that back. It looks like they are aware that someone could be there. But this fight isn't one that either team needs to take, because
Vanguard are coming as well.
It's not even in the circle, though.
There's going to be a 3-way clash at this. What is it with this gas station? What do people like about it? Look, just coming into the corner of the map right now on the mini-map, you can see in the bottom right-hand side of your screen a Vanguard passing by. Now, if these shots continue, they may just think, okay, let's pass on by. They've come out of Kumisera, going for a deep south cross. Meanwhile, Example looking for more kills. It's Rafi that's blasted on by. 4am do pull up, and look at this. Hypark up on high, taking the shots. Hetero is in close. 4am not having any of it. They're immediately abandoning this.
Yeah, they're heading out because the blue's coming in. And the pressure from Optic on the west side is too much for them to handle. Hetero was potentially in a position to really do damage on their exit. But now they're going to be the last ones into the circle, and they could get stopped upon by both 4am as well as a Vanguard, who certainly heard those shots and are going to be coming in from the left side while 4am are on the right. You saw Forever actually already stopped down there just below that cliff, waiting to see if he doesn't hear any follow-up vehicles coming from Optic. So by saving Hetero, Optic put themselves in a pretty bad position. The swing is going to be towards the left, not towards the north, so it could be worse for them. Oh, but FaZe rotating in super late as well. FaZe, the blue, chunking him down very, very low. Has to stop to met up. They are going to turn away from a Vanguard, who are just to the north of them, going in through Los Leones again to the circle.
Liquid and Tempo Storm pretty close to one another. They are on the edge of the white circle, so neither really needs to move. Of course, they will be looking to reposition. And speaking of teams repositioning, Optic trying to blast their way through. That is getting past FaZe Clan. It's getting past the Vanguard. The rest of Optic are coming up behind him. So Jemty's took these shots, but he's got to be careful behind him right now. This is all happening in the blue zone, by the way. As the Vanguard come through, FaZe go through, Optic push through. They're all trying to get a position, but now FaZe have pulled up.
Noctiv, he is down. Almost sent that vehicle like a missile, but he's going to get taken out. The call out from the players in the back did allow FaZe to set up a crossfire, set up a toll, really. A pretty disastrous one, but still in the blue, still losing rotational timings. And so while they fight this out, while they scrap this out, they're only going to be slowly chunking away meds. But Hawaka did pull out his vehicle, see if he can get some return shots onto FaZe, but FaZe, they do have the cover of the cliff. They're going to be able to keep rotating through. I do hope they have the meds, though, because it's not dealing too much to them, but it's still going to be something that could impact them because they're still driving out in the blue. OGN, though, making a rotation up on the northern side, getting quite close to MVP.
Yeah, Siege is going to come in on that spot. We've just cut away from it, but he's going to come in and see OGN right there. So they may collapse on one another. We'll probably go back to it. Yeah, there you go. You can see Youngtan up on high. And now OGN have absolutely their position. That nade almost landing on his head, forces him back. You can see Siege on the minimap. So they've got a kind of a long-range slot position. Now he's taking shots. See the trace of eye coming in onto Sungjiang at the top there. Youngtan having to back away. Here's Siege. He's got himself an SKS and a 4x, so decent range for him just on the edge of this. While this is happening, by the way, Liquid are on a big northerly rotate and actually may come in where this fight is happening.
Yeah, they're going to be coming in just down that road. You can see them off in the distance. Pang is staying here on top of this hill. Gets a nice shot onto Christus. Wants to keep OGN pinned down and keep them pinned onto the side and potentially gatekeep them in the next circle. It's going to be about 2 minutes before we see what happens there. Liquid are going to be hearing these shots, though, and it is going to deter them from going through this road if this was the plan that they were going for.
4am are continuing their rotate as well. They're following on the road, so they're actually going to come in the back of Liquid. Liquid pushing in. They're still driving down the road directly towards this engagement that's happening here. You can see MVP making the way down the road, backing away south. OGN holding the north ridge. Here's Liquid. Some acrobatics from Jeems. Everybody loves to see a two-seater bike doing wheelies. And we are no different, big kids that we are. But now they're going to be pulling into the compound. They'll be safe in there. James is just going to be scouting it out and say, okay, it's not the greatest of compound. It does have a big hill ridge. Yeah. FaZe Clan, we saw them down south. They've got themselves a first kill. And more importantly, Cammy, they have 4 alive.
Yeah, that's a big thing, coming 4 alive under this circle. They're actually pretty alone in this area as well in the southwest. The only people they got to contend with, the closest people, are going to be Method, just in the northeast of them. So they are able, this is definitely a better start for them so far. Optic, though, they're having a late rotation in themselves. 4am, opposite side, they're coming up all the way on the north side. A long rotation just past Liquid.
And that's a big change for Optic. Remember, they were actually way down. They were going Los Leones way. They ran into FaZe. They saw a Vanguard getting taken down. They were like, that's a FaZe Clan toll booth setup. And turned around. So they've been in that blue for a very long time. So they're going to be low on meds coming into the fight, which they do have maybe Impala to pass through, see if they can collect something. But you can see he's still 2 first aids for Valiant there, so he should be safe. He's going to have to stop and heal himself up in a moment. Ghost, they've got Liquid. So Liquid's been slowly making this creep down from the north, but Liquid have to be wary of 4am working in their backside while Ghost hold the hill.
Like, we are in a good spot. They did take that ridge that you pointed out being the weak point of that compound. They then took that to try and put some pressure on the area around them rather than kind of cornering themselves in that area. And they are going to have view of 4 a.m. while they roll up. And so 4 a.m., if they just want to bomb into that compound, it could be disastrous for them. But it seems like they're okay stopping in a 2-2 split, just kind of taking stake of the area around them while this next circle closes. And we're going to see where, if it does hard shift, where the next circle is going to hard shift. And it is going to be northwest directly onto MVP.
So the MVP OGN battle, there's fairly open ground in that northern side.
Yeah.
We'll see whether anybody decides to rotate around the back. I'm thinking maybe 4 a.m. could be looking at doing that. But the southern side of the circle is going to get very congested. We're seeing Gen G pushing through. Remember, Stab's on his own. The rest of Cloud9 are wiped out. He is going to have to get out of here. He's realizing I cannot hold this compound against this team. Vitality, the team that executed Cloud9 on their push, managed to get them past. They're all trying to push for these positions in Minas Generalis. This is not going to be safe for anyone. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams all pushing into the same space right now.
Oh, Gen G, they are combing through this entire compound. It's on the edge. They like to play safe for the early mid game. And they're choosing where Stab's position is. Loki jumping right on top of him and immediately taken out. No chance. Loki taken out very low. But the rest of Gen G would be right on his back anyway. So that's going to be Cloud9 going out in 16th.
And this is the polarizing factor, right? They got the chicken dinner in game number 2. And again, they go out really poorly placed in 16th place. Doesn't give them a great deal of points. If anything, it's 5 points. Not really worth mentioning. They didn't even get a kill in there either,
No,
I don't
they
believe.
got that kill on Vitality.
Did they? Yes, they did.
Yes.
You're right. Yeah, they took Monkey down. Meanwhile, we are looking at a Vanguard right now. We can see them working up the hill. Vitality are there. M19 are there. Gen G are nearby. Welcome to South Georgia. There. Ghost are there. Everybody congesting on this one big compound at the Minas Generalis and water treatment.
It's essentially a city where it's just it can get really clustered together, except it also has the added elements of the verticality of all the cliff sides, and so it can be very complicated to fight in this area, especially if you're trying to retreat. And this gives Ghost a good advantage to pick up a lot of kills if the shift doesn't stick on this area. If it does swing north and all these teams inside Minas Generalis do have to leave. Ghost as well as Knights to the left side, 2 teams who actually like to do this style of play, can get a lot of kills when they're retreating out.
I'm very impressed that Optic has still managed to get themselves inside now, out of the blue. There's still blue pushing on the backs, but they are working their way in. They are in danger of running into the back of Gen G. Knights, meanwhile, very aggressive stuff here. Look at this from Voxic. Up on top of the warehouse, taking a peek, and there's a lot of players that could be looking his way. FaZe Clan nearby them. You can see them on the minimap there. There they are. The other side of this hillside, they've managed to keep all 4 alive somehow, by hook or by crook, as they work their way in there. Method, another team we haven't mentioned a great deal of, they're actually taking a western rotation. They're going to be coming in near MVP, and they may even look to be crashing into the same compound.
They may actually, but Voxic, they're taking shots at M19. M19 trying to get a better position on the western side. Don't want to dive deep into Minas Generalis. And the shots are coming out. Not too many of them are landing, but it does put a lot of pressure on M19. Method, they do pull up. Use this ridge to scout out MVP, and it looks like they do spy each other out. But shots coming in from FaZe as well from the south is going to potentially third-party this position. And so Method, they're going to have to figure out what they want to do. M19 also taking shots from the Knights. And so it's actually the southwestern side that's putting a lot of pressure on the entirety of this circle.
Next circle shift is going to be a bloodbath. 55 alive, and a lot of teams starting to compress very much close to one another in Minas Generalis. If this swings north, it is going to be a massacre of almighty proportions as they move down. If it goes south, well, all those teams that are trying to play as edge as they can right now because it isn't safe in there are going to find themselves in a real sticky situation. Circle continuing to push in as Bahawaka gets down. This is what Optic, as I was saying, they are going to come in on the backside of Gen G. Gen G spread themselves really nicely. Went for a bit of a 2-2 split here, and they've caught Optic very much on the hop in the blue.
Gen G in the blue themselves, though, didn't exactly want this fight, and the shift is going to be away from them, so they want to win this fast. Simpson peeks up, gets a nice shot onto Valley 8, knocking him after his team just took care of Bahawaka. So Optic, a lot of damage. Simpson almost knocked. The nade follow-up, if not, the blue should be enough.
It's a risky nade. Valiant's the other side of the rock. That is such a big risky nade. And he does kind of landed, I think. We're kind of caught Optic, Valiant in a little bit of the same back and forth. Very tricky one there. Optic, remember, 20 kills. First place, chicken dinner in the last game. Looking like they may actually be going out in 15th place at this rate. Hetra's just going to have to run for his life. Ghost picking up kills on Battleland. M19 and co all having to make the shift now. It's actually Method's rotation has suddenly turned out very well. MVP and OGM, we watched them early on have a very good position as the circle did shift to the north. Liquid, I believe, down to maybe one. Just Samty, I think, the last man standing for them as well as Hetra continues to run for it. No, Scoom's going to get the
so that's still
revive on Jeems.
Yeah, so that's still 3 for them. But yeah, actually, I was afraid for Method even with this shift because FaZe had the pin down on them, but FaZe are retreating from that power position. They want to go a little more into the compound. A fight is breaking out between Tempo Storm and WTSG while Vard and Miraku go down, so that's WTSG out in 15th.
Jeems down again. Scoom trying to get the revive back on him again. FaZe Clan looking down towards the Vanguard. You can see Mumino out in the blue down at the graveyard. Not really a great deal can do. Keen's going to try and get past. Remember, it was a Vanguard that got caught out by FaZe Clan on the rotates earlier. Jeems finished off this time, it seems. No, he's just been down again. He must be bleeding out so fast. That's 3 downs instantly by McCoy.
Yeah, that's not great. But I actually see why FaZe did pull away from that original spot to third party onto Method. While Method do get a couple of kills on Avangard, it's because FaZe wanted to make sure that they stop everyone from rotating into the southern side because of the shift on them. A lot of spray down, though.
A game too late, but FaZe finally found Rafi.
Finally found him.
Managed to catch him out there. Mumino down to Vanguard in trouble. There's the rotates coming in. So Vitality tried to crash in. Gen G are about to come past as well on your foreground here. Here comes Wicked and all of Gen G. They're trying to blast on by while Vitality and Knights try and trade blows. They're looking towards it. M19 across the road, taking shots at them. Jeems gets down again. that's 4 times running, Jeems.
Stop peeking.
How many times can you live? It doesn't matter. Samty's now got them pulling up on him, and that leaves Scoom now, I believe, the last man standing. He's got Jeems back up again, but keep your eye on that kill feed. He'll be down in a second.
Naze barrage from Knights is just wrecking Vitality. Diaz at the same time, though, has just been completely ignored. Vitality running over him, distracted by the Knights. Vitality at least do still have 2 inside the circle, and Diaz, the last one left from Avangard, does have to crawl in a couple of extra meters. And he knows the nades are still going in on that position, so he knows there's probably still a team up there. More nades. This, a little too far. But Vitality pinned down. This is still not a good spot, even if they are in the circle, because trying to retreat from this position is not going to be very fun.
Oh no, Hetra's trying to flank around. Meanwhile, 4AM are actually taking peeks at Tempo. Did they just catch a glimpse of him? 4AM have gone for this 2-2. Trying to split out. It's God V and Forever that are here, and you can see Long and CPT off to the northern side. And they probably the ones that gave the information that Hetra was close by. So they're probably thinking actually it's Tempo Storm that are flanking them.
Yeah.
And instead, yeah, they've gone deep round because, look, they're trying to flank out Hetra, so they've very much spotted his position. Zampa, ironically, looking, probably hearing the footsteps and thinking, what's going on over here? But the circle is very much donated in this time, Cammy. That is going to be brutal. Look at the outside of the circle. Look where the Knights, Vanguard, Vitality, M19, FaZe Clan, Method, 4AM, Tempo Storm, Optic, all need to get a move on along with Ghost.
Yeah, it's Gen G in dead center taking that little shack that they stole away from Samty, but as you mentioned, all the other teams are going to have to crawl in. Ooh, Diaz running around the side, taking a little bit of blue damage, but he wants to isolate himself from Vitality because he would have to run out in the open, and that would not be a good spot for him. Knights, I don't think they know that he's there either, and so their focus is going to be on getting into the circle. You can see them hopping into the vehicles.
So here we go. Jeems is down again. Sixth time?
Stop peeking. Stop peeking. Why are you peeking?
4AM are going to be coming up right behind Liquid, so I don't think they're going to be able to do a great deal about it. Hetra, you can see on his own. Tempo Storm making the way, but they are engaging with 4AM down the hillside. Ghost, they're looking towards this fight as well. They are trying to third party as much as they can. MVP finds Jeems, and I believe, no, he's down again. That's the 6th time. He's going to bleed out. Scoom's like, I give up. I've revived you. He's probably got the most revives ever already. The record's just been worked out nicely for him. He will bleed out, and now they're all crashing in. Gen G are in there. The Knights come sliding in. Cheerleader's got to keep Kramer and Voxing away, but they're going to push his compound to get him down. Gen G will go out in 14th place, but while that move happened, you've still got teams like FaZe Clan, Vitality, Avanga, M19, Ghost, Tempo Storm, 4AM, all trying to get into zone.
M19 do now just go out in 13th. Ghost having just wiped that team, still have to crawl in from the southeastern side, but looks like Tempo Storm may be rotating down onto their position. FaZe as well, they're going the aggressive onto the Knights' previous spot to find the last couple of snakes. Shadow gets discovered. They're going to be out in 11th. I think Diaz from Vanguard also just got taken out by them as well, and they are still still going to be pushing up, but we saw what happened to the Knights. Their only option was to go dead center, so I don't know how many options FaZe are going to discover for themselves.
They got nowhere to go. Look at this. You got Ghost shooting them from the left, and as soon as they peek over the hill, Method are lighting them up because they were engaged with Method earlier on. They've got nowhere to go other than maybe doing exactly what Knights did and just crashing straight in towards that small shack. Meanwhile, Tempo Storm, 4am and Ghost are in this crossfire craziness that's going on the eastern side as Ghost try and lay down as much smoke as they can. 4am, it's Black and 4. Tempo Storm getting as much as they can. Your boy Dre tries to push around the side. He gets down by a name from God V, and now FaZe also getting lit up by Method. As I mentioned, they've got no way down the hill as Maluke suddenly realizes he's the last man standing for Tempo Storm.
Ooh, it's not a good spot for a lot of these teams. So much third-party action because this is essentially one big giant bowl. Zampa does go down to the blue after getting knocked.
We should mention the teams that were there from the very beginning. MVP and OGN,
Yeah.
the original teams that faced off against each other. FaZe Clan down, out, 9th place for them. It's been a disaster of a day for FaZe Clan. One they're going to want to forget on Miramar, which is something I've said pretty sure in the past. Scoom has Circle Center. Team Liquid, while they only have one alive, that's maybe all they're going to need. You can see he's took behind himself an explosed car, so he's pretty safe barring a grenade rolling in his direction, and everybody else has to fight. Method moving on MVP over in the west.
Yeah, MVP got the middle of this compound, but Method want to take care of them first, so they're not running parallel to each other. Nades come in. Pang is ducking behind a vehicle. Rafi's still trying to hold the angle, but MVP are clued into this aggressive maneuver from Method. But they are on the fast side, close to the circle. But the pressure is on them to finish this fight. And you just saw for a quick second that the angle that 4am had on them from on top of that hill, easy third party, but there's a wrap coming around from MVP.
Oh, there's the nade that tries to get Scoom. Meanwhile, Chris, who did just get the down, he's about to get pushed. He gets caught in the back. Alpaca manages to get him in the backside. 4am got to push down the hill, but they need to be looking right because OGN are on the move. Balak with a big old headshot onto Kramer. There's MVP, and that's Method in all sorts of trouble now. I think it's just 80, the last man standing. I can't tell whether Rafi's alive. Yes, he is. He's going to push around the side. He's got two just around the corner. They're right on top of him. He just needs to have a peek. He's looking in the smoke. He doesn't realize they're so quite close. Gets the spray down, finds Peng, but he doesn't manage to get the guy reviving.
Yeah, I think he was maybe suggested by a teammate that someone was getting revived in there, but he just cleared out the one that he knocked initially, and so he may not know that the siege is so close and the two players are still there. Tempo Storm do now get eliminated. 8C and Rafi getting completely surrounded by MVP, while back last member of Ghost is being shot at by virtually everyone in the entire server.
80 gets Alpaca. Method and MVP are just tearing each other apart. Rafi does get gunned down. 80 replies, pushes around, gets Youngtan. Sees Siege, dips back into the smoke. Rafi was dealt with. 80 comes back around the side. Does he see Siege? He does, but it's too late. And Siege will get Youngtan back on his feet, but the damage has been done. They're down to 2. The Knights with 3. 4am, I believe, still have 4 alive up on the hillside. Now, look at the spread you can see there. Scoom lying in wait. Knights spread down low, but it's OGN and 4am now that are engaged in possibly the fight for victory.
This is I think this is exactly where Ghost got their 20-kill win, where 4am are. Obviously, it's not the exact same circle, but it's close enough, and with 4am still 4 alive, look at all these line of sight they have basically down this giant hill. They can put out a lot of damage and grab a lot of kills for themselves because MVP, they're the only piece of hard cover outside of the Knights' little shack, but those are unlikely going to be in the next circle.
Where will that circle be? We're waiting, anticipating. It's going to go to Scoom. 4am, of course, inside it. It does mean that MVP need to make that run over the road. That is going to be a tough old push, even with smokes. Knights, meanwhile, they have Drayden inside, but you can see Voxic in Texas here. They have to push up and look ahead of him. There's nothing. There's nothing there. They're going to have to make the wall of smoke and try their best to push them forward while 4am have them in their sights. The only distraction could be OGN. Sung Yang is making his way up the hill.
And of course, they're popping the tires to make it that much more difficult for the Knights. At least they have Drayden in, so they have at least one person as a plan B if the other two members can't group up. OGN as well. Sungjung inside are the last two players. or outside, trying to take some shots onto 4AM to keep them pinned down with the Knights. But the high ground that 4AM have, as well as the terrain to get inside the circle, 4AM have a huge advantage right now. We have yet to see them come up huge, though. So they're going to have to finally deliver on the 5th game. But Siege finding an angle onto the 2 members of Knights. Circle had to push in less than 10 seconds. It puts pressure on both of these squads. MVP, though, I think they're about to go out in maybe the next 10 seconds.
It's pretty much down on the clock there. I mean, we just lost 40 players in the last 2 phases, so
yes.
It's not too surprising to see him going down. There's the smoke being laid down. I don't think it's really quite going to be enough for them. You can see Knights have an angle on them, so they don't need to move. They kind of got the blue more in their position. Siege going to try and make the run for it. Not going to work out for him. Texas and then Youngtan should be the last man standing. Meanwhile, that's happening. OGN going to try and get a peek around the side there. MVP will go down in 5th place. No too surprising there. Sung Yang tried to push onto 4AM, but take a big bit of damage. And now 4AM trying to take a position on them. Mira fights forever, and the Knights are taking this as a chance to push. Texas gets up behind the rock. Scoom just down low. Does Texas even realize? He's so focused on 4AM on the hill. He's not even looking at Scoom. Now he pops the smoke. Now he absolutely knows it's there. Voxic will get down on his push up the hill, but Texas got in a close flanker position. It could work out for Knights here.
Ooh, that truck, will it do it? It does knock Voxic away, but here comes the push from OGN just up the hill. Mira off in the distance, down the hill. Still trying to find a separate angle, but Godby pushes over. It's a 1-for-1 trade so far. Songjong with a trade back onto Forever. A nade coming out. Don't know if that's a frag, but trying to go for the spray again. The revive is coming from 4AM if he doesn't push.
Texas is watching all this play out. He's looking to see him get an angle. Songyang finds another head there. Suddenly Long and God V gets the push around the side. Long took a lot of damage. He's going to try and push. He will have to back away. Does get the revive in. Texas won't get involved. Any nade there would have been absolutely crucial, but it's given Drayden a chance to flank around. He's coming around the backside of Mira. Should be able to find him. He's got the tree kind of blocking off 4AM's angle, and Texas is on the move again. He's looking to get a little peek around the side. Wants to get as much information, but Scoom is sitting in that rock, and he may even be able to sneak himself into 2nd place because they're all engaging without him.
You'd think that the smoke that he deployed when Texas approached would give his position away to that player, but Texas is too distracted by 4AM. At least Scoom has the lineup, no heals, which is why he's sitting at around 25-20% HP.
If he goes for this shot, it's actually going to give him a bad position. It will give him 3rd. He's going to go for it.
He doesn't know Drayden's behind him.
He doesn't realize Dre's behind him yet. Dre didn't even look.
I think Dre's still down the hill. I think Drayden is still down the hill. I don't know the line of sight was there. Drayden's so distracted by the OGN players. The shift was up into the northeast onto 4AM once again, and so they don't need to push that much at all. It's all on the other teams to work in tandem to upset their position.
Drayden so focused on Mira to his left. Texas so focused on what's above him. Everybody ignoring Scoom, who had clear vision and just got himself out of sight, realizing he obviously hears the footsteps of Drayden now. Scoom is looking down that way, but Drayden and Mira exchanging blows. Big old hit onto Mira, doesn't finish him off. Texas comes over top, and that gives Knights at least 3rd place position. Now, does he look towards Scoom? Drayden, he's not. He's going to flank around the side. Scoom is going to keep himself positioned and in the circle. They have no way of looking, and now they can't even see him.
That reposition by Scoom earlier to get behind the rock is coming up crucial right now, because if the Knights go aggressive on 4AM, whoever wins, that's Scoom getting his team in 2nd place. And it is looking like 4AM have a good position.
The thing is, 4AM are going to be looking at this and thinking we're in a 3v3. We're in a 3v3 right now. Because they know that there's 6 alive, and they're all down the hill. So they know the Scoom's there, because they've been knocking Scoom and Jeems constantly.
Okay. With the slow, steady play that 4AM have been doing, this actually gives the Knights the opportunity to get the center circle. And because once the last circle closes dead center, this will force 4AM to actually push into the Knights. And even though they have more men on their side, the defender advantage could give the Knights the opportunity. 4AM may have misplayed this by taking it just too slow.
Scoom has no meds, no nothing. He's just sitting waiting. We can see them all playing out. He's a spectator just like we are right now as Texas and Drayden get a peek around the side. The question is whether Scoom decides to go aggressive. He sees Texas. He goes aggressive. He gets Long down. That's a big old knock. He's going to finish it off. Suddenly they're down to a 2-on-2 and Scoom keeps on creeping forward. Scoom's looking for themselves a kill. Texas goes looking aggressive. Forever gets a peek on the head, but he doesn't go for the shot. Texas gets it. Gets another down. Forever down instead. CPT tries to push around the backside. Scoom's going to come up for the backstab. 4AM finds Texas. Drayden goes forward. It's now a 1-on-1-on-1. Scoom goes for it. Gets himself the kill. He can actually pick up the win here. CPT versus Scoom. Scoom has no meds, no nothing. It's all about whether he sees the head. He caught a glimpse of him, tries to go for it. No, doesn't quite get it. 4 AM will take the chicken dinner, but Scoom, by hook or by crook, gets himself a second place finish in possibly his final ever LAN for Team Liquid.
What a final play by him. The Knights completely overlooking his position, and that just, with Texas knocking 4 AM, so many members, bringing it down to a 1v1v1, they could have gotten this if they just checked their backside.
And if Scoom would have maybe just waited a little bit longer, he had to move because the star was on him, obviously they're pushing his back, but if he'd have waited for CPT and Knights to take that fight on, do the damage to one another, and then come in and pick up the chicken dinner. Who knows? There's so many players in such a pressure situation.
Yeah.
But to get second place out of the position he was in, just to sit behind that rock for so long while everybody